Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick a card reading about your next week. So this is where you get to use your intuition to pick the card, number, or object that pops out for you. And then I have the timestamps down below in the description, and I will use my intuition to then read the cards for you. We are setting the intention that we get the messages that we need to hear for this week. And if you like to pick with objects, I'll be placing objects right now. So for group number 1, the object that goes with that is, this is blue Tigereye. So I just want to, it really shines in the light here. For group number 2, this is Unakite. And for group number 3, we have, this is picture Jasper. So if you're still not sure which group or pile or object to pick, I do an exercise where, and you're invited to do that with me. It's a breathing exercise. We're just going to close our eyes, take a deep breath in, and release out any tension, and set the intention that we're going to hear what we need to hear. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Now open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the group for you. So thank you so much for being here. Hello group 1, if you picked the Tigereye. We're going to take a look at your next week. So Tigereye is said to connect your third eye chakra with your throat chakra. So that allows you to, like, your throat chakra is about you speaking. And you know what, I'm having kind of a hard time speaking right now. So this might be really helpful for you if you've been having a problem raising your voice, or you've been witnessing something going on and internally you just know that it's wrong. Like maybe there's not a logical reason for you to believe that it's wrong. It heightens psychic abilities because your third eye chakra deals with psychic abilities. So I'm gonna put this down because I'm really feeling that in my throat chakra. So let's take a look at the cards. I'm going to get this one out, and then I have more for you, and see what we can do about like these blockages, because I feel like it's coming out, or you may be looking at it because you've been feeling like you've been blocked. And the first card that comes out for you is New Beginning. And it might be a creative endeavor that you've been feeling like has been blocked. This fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby or birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. So make sure that, you know, you may be blocked from talking about your idea just because the people that around you are maybe not as supportive as you would like them to be. That's not anything against them. You know, we are all driven by our ego at times, and our ego sometimes hears new ideas and our first reaction is a negative one, or to think, oh no, don't do that. I was, you know, just recently I wanted to get a kitchen gadget, and I mentioned it to my husband, and he's like, oh, well, what do you need that? It's like, so I can see, I mean, why do you care what I need it for? But his first initial reaction to this brand new idea they had never even considered before was a negative one. So you have to understand that sometimes when you have like this really great idea, that you're going to be met with some questioning on that. It doesn't mean that those people don't support you or love you or want the best for you. In fact, because they have an opinion on it, or they have a knee-jerk reaction on it regarding you, it might be because they actually really do love you. So let's talk about next week. What can we expect for next week for group 1? What does group 1 need to know about next week? That is the Page of Cups reversed. We get, that's the Queen of Buttons. What else do we need to know for next week for group 2? The Messenger. So the Messenger is a card that's specific to this deck. So if you're like, what the heck is that? I've never seen it before. It's because it's specific to this deck, but we'll talk about it. And I'm not surprised that it's here when we're talking about connecting your third chakra with your throat chakra, because it invites our spirit guides in and kind of allows us to listen to our spirit guides. We also have the King of Cups in reverse, so 2 cup cards in reverse here. And then we've got the 2 of matches in reverse. So I will just show you what these cards say, just so you know, so you're not squinting at the screen. But I'm not going to necessarily go off of what's printed on here. So Page of Cups, we've got immaturity, envy, and then irresponsibility are what we have when we've got the Page of Cups reversed. And then the other Cups cards that we have reversed here, we've got the King of Cups. So heartless, unstable, uncaring. And a lot of times when we see court cards, they can talk about an energy going on for you for next week, or they can talk about a particular person. And when we are talking about protecting your idea though, and then you're, maybe having trouble raising your voice or letting your desires be known, with that throat chakra, that kind of throat chakra being blocked, I feel like you may be dealing with a person who does not have your best interest in mind. So just be aware of that. And again, just when we were talking about protecting your idea, just because somebody else doesn't like your idea, they don't like what you are creating, it doesn't mean that you aren't on the right path. And I feel like we've got the Queen of Buttons, the Messenger here, to remind you to really decide if that is somebody that you should be listening to, if that's somebody that you should be letting have a voice in your head. I feel like there might be some intrusive thoughts around here, and that's why, Spirit is saying that we need to really nurture you, that you need to nurture yourself, you need to nurture your idea, and you need to nurture these new beginnings. The other interesting thing with the Two of Matches, when it's upright, it is about going out there, getting it done. Maybe we put but I think that we need to put a plan in place before you're ready to move forward here. Interesting timing right now. We are actually in Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde is a time for self-reflection. It's not really a time to start new things, but it is a time to look into the past and realize the things that we need to be letting go. I have a whole Mercury retrograde reading if you're interested in that. But concerning you for this next week, I feel like this person or this energy that comes in here that is really not as caring and as thoughtful and is I don't want to say harming you, but certainly causing a little bit of undue stress or stress that doesn't need to happen at all. It really is a time for you to sit there and, you might feel like you're alone, but you're not alone. Your spirit guides are with you and they are communicating with you. So meditation and the planning part of this new idea that you want to bring in may not be ready yet. So it's really kind of, let's sit with it for a while. Let's figure it out. But as far as your success, when we've got the Queen of Buttons here, it says providing, caregiver, and practicality. I feel like also, Mercury retrograde is a great time to feel grounded. I don't think I mentioned this with the with this stone, that it not only provides kind of like this funnel or channel, if you will, to your spirit guides, but it also helps you be connected to Earth. So both of those things are really important, especially to your mental stability and well-being. Stability is really important right now, and the Queen of Buttons, or you would say Queen of Pentacles in other decks, is somebody who's very grounded, and she's self-sufficient, but she cares about other people, and she's very caring about other people. So this, again, the Queen of Buttons can be a feminine energy in your life who is there for you, or it can just be an energy that you embody yourself. She's very practical. She's somebody who isn't afraid of putting the work in. She has these little bunnies running around at home that she takes care of. Something that I always say when I see this card is, she can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. So that's old song lyrics, but that she is a very self-sufficient person, and she will take steps towards her dreams in a very real and practical way. So if you are finding some resistance here in your emotional state towards your dream, figure out a way to be grounded. Maybe put some pen to paper, write out your goal set, because the Two of Matches right now is reversed, but it's just a hesitation. It's a holding back, and it's an indecision, and that's okay. We have to kind of come to like the drawing board or the planning of it, of this idea of what you want to accomplish, to really get it out there and have it fully mature. And then the messenger, so it says spirit guides, protection, and divine signs. So those are things you should be looking for going forward. Angel numbers, repeating numbers, synchronicities. Like if all of a sudden everybody is talking about this one thing, pay attention to that. Like you overhear somebody in a coffee shop, and then your best friend calls, and then it pops up somewhere on social media, somebody is talking about it. You want to investigate that further, and especially if it relates to your dream and it relates to moving forward with it. Your spirit guides want you to know that you are protected, that this is how you tap into that protection, the grounding, and being practical and moving forward with your dreams and your idea in a very practical. I keep saying practical, but that's true in a very real way. The other thing about the Queen of Buttons being here is sometimes our ideas, they kind of feel like they're out there. They kind of feel like they're not for us, or they're so cerebral. But the Queen of Buttons creates those things, and she pulls the idea and puts it into reality. So your idea is manifesting and becoming reality. You may need to wait for it a little bit. So, but Spirit is saying that we need to ignore these negative emotions that come in around it. We need to ignore those negative feelings for sure, and understand as well that with Mercury retrograde, communication is strained. Okay, people have misinterpretation is something that is really highlighted during Mercury retrograde. So this person that you think might not really believe in your dream, or they're being immature about it, or you think they're being heartless about it, or they don't care about you, that may not actually be the truth. You just may have taken what they've said the wrong way, and it has escalated from there. So we need to just be very mindful of that during Mercury retrograde, and that's why it's not always the best time to start something new, because communication is strained. So just some advice coming in. We've got trust and wisdom. Look at that. I love trust. This is Egg Moon Trust. I love that when we're talking about protection here from your spirit guides and that they're with you. It's also really interesting. I know this is a duck and this is like a falcon, but it's also interesting that we still have the bird theme repeated here. And again, that would be an example of divine signs. It would be an example of synchronicities, that your spirit guide is looking out for you. They have a higher perspective for you. They want you to feel protected, and you can take a break. You don't have to feel like you need to produce something all of the time or keep moving. It's your idea needs time to hatch. It needs time to become mature. And then as far as moving forward here, we have wisdom. This is waning gibbous wisdom. And I always see this as like standing on the shoulders of giants. So with your idea, you may have mentioned it to somebody and it's really out of the realm of their possibility. It's out of the realm of anything that they've ever thought of or experienced before. And a lot of times that's meant with negative comments and negative thinking. So you need to find somebody who has achieved your dream before, who has gone for it, and look at the steps that they have taken to get there. Obviously, you are on YouTube, so this is a great place to start. But there are, if this is a business opportunity, a business thing, check with your small business development center. Mine has classes and they're amazing and they're free. Check with your local library. What kind of resources do you have available to you? My library has a makerspace. So if there's like software that you're like really excited about, but you don't have access to, does your library have it? Because they have, mine has a 3D printer. So just things that you would never, you get excited about an idea, you want to do like 3D printing, for instance, you want to get into that, you've never done it before. Some of these things have like a money barrier between you and that thing. The ideas will come to you, the resources, figuring out how to find those resources and move forward. That's what you're doing this week, and you're not so that's how you do this in a very practical way and make it into reality. Look at the resources that you have around you within your community and allow your community to help you. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2, and welcome to your reading about this week. This is Unakite. So Unakite is a semi-precious stone. It gets its pink and green coloring from mineral content. And it is the third eye chakra. It helps with that, which helps with kind of like our psychic abilities, knowing the unknown, that kind of thing. Unakite is also said to bring you peace while you are sleeping, so you can put it under your pillow if you're having some sleepless nights, because it is a stone that can help you rest. It has positive vibrations and it's very calming and relaxing and balances emotion and relieves stress. So who wouldn't need that right now, right? Or anytime. And then we've got fairy spotting. It's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact, the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. So whether that is what you want to see fairies, Maybe you want to have contact with extraterrestrials, or maybe you just want to manifest something in your life, whether that be a new job, a new relationship. And I forgot to mention Unakite can help with manifestation too. So very connected here. So what is it that you want to bring in your life? And then start embracing that energy. Start bringing that energy into the now. It's often said, like, don't dress for the job that you have, dress for the job that you want. And that is a very real and practical way of bringing in that energy. So when I did have a corporate job, one thing that I did, like, I just dressed normal, but I always dressed up on Fridays. Fridays was like casual business attire, and I knew that nobody else dressed up, so I always dressed up on Fridays, just to set myself out. So we get the universe in reverse. We get 8 of buttons, so this could be very work related. We get the 8 of buttons. The universe, if you've never seen that card before, it's because it's specific to this deck, and I'll get more into it. We got 9 of matches, so mastery and resilience and determination here with the Chariot. So you might be coming into this week feeling like we have the universe in reverse. So this says decadence, stagnation, regression. Sometimes we're doing this dance where we're going 1 step forward, 2 step backwards, right? And I feel like that's why this manifestation card, and this is why this Unakite is coming into your life, so that we can work on reversing that. Like, I don't mind taking steps backwards as long as I'm progressing as we're doing it, because this kind of reminds me of somebody who their goal may have been to lose weight, and a lot of people they abandon their goals because the progress that they're making is so little progress, failing to understand that progress is progress, and sometimes we need to take baby steps. So I feel like this is more of an energy of the past, or more of an energy that you're coming into this week. And the other thing about this week that's special about this week is we are in Mercury retrograde. So there's not any swords cards here, so not anything about communication, but sometimes that can, when we have miscommunications with others, or we're under the influence of Mercury retrograde, a lot of times we can feel like we are regressing, when in fact we're just revisiting the past, and we're looking at what is working, what isn't working. Like, we're asking ourselves those questions because we need to let some things go. I think of that when I'm looking at the 9 of matches here, because most of the time in the 9 of matches, it's like a wall of people kind of coming at you, and a lot of time you feel like you've been attacked, and you feel like you've been standing your ground, and you've been doing it for so long, and then you start questioning, like, should I even be standing here? Should I even be standing my ground at this time? Is it even worth it? And in Mercury retrograde, we are asking those questions because we have some complications, we have some challenges, especially in regard to technology and travel and communication. I'm just remembering, like, the last Mercury retrograde was when all of those it was like coming into this year, and it was when all of those airlines were canceling flights and things like that. So it is a really real phenomenon. I don't care what Neil deGrasse Tyson says. Anyway, mastery. We've got the 8 of buttons. The 8 of buttons is about work. It's about, buttons is the physical. It is it could be our bodies, it could be work, it could be anything that is kind of material. So it could be a new car, it could be, but this one in particular talks about gaining new skills. It says apprentice and focus. So it's time to kind of think of what you want to focus on. What do you want to manifest? What kind of skills do you need to achieve what it is that you're looking forward to, or you're looking towards? Is it a work situation? Usually I would say that with the Eight of Pentacles, where you need to gain some skills. You need to figure out what it is that piece that you're missing for that promotion. Is there anything that you know, you can let people know that you're interested in doing something, and can you be their apprentice? Can you tag along? Can you ask them questions? Can you figure out how a spreadsheet works, for instance, if that's what's holding you back, your knowledge of Excel? There's tons of information obviously here on YouTube, so anything that you want to know how to do, you can pretty much figure it out for free here on YouTube if you find the right person to show you. So I feel like it's not necessarily here, but discernment is very important at this time too. Focus, but what are we focusing on? We're focusing on what we want to manifest. We're focusing on what we want to bring into our reality. And right now, I mean, I love the fairy spotting. I love that it's such a like, what do I want to say? Just an idea, like an ephemeral idea, like, but it's not really concrete, but it's something that once we focus on, well, the idea of you know, the manifesting. So your goal, what it is that you want to accomplish. Sometimes those goals can be like big and lofty, and that's okay. I know somebody who wants to be a lawyer. And the thing is that this person passed on law school because it would take so much time. Well, that time has kind of elapsed and they still want to be a lawyer. Like, that time passes anyway. So just because, like, don't pass up doing something that you want to do just because it's going to take time. Like, what else are you doing? Just sitting there waiting for your dreams to happen when you're not putting in the work? Then we've got the Nine of Matches. This says resilience, persistence, and strong will. So sometimes we do get in the middle of something, like it takes time, it takes effort, it takes some work, and it's not time to give up. We have to keep pushing through. We're going to meet some challenges, and that's okay. This is the Nine. The Nine is basically like, we're coming to the end. We can see that light at the end of the tunnel, and you're doing really great. So that's the message here. Keep going, keep moving. Sometimes it's hard to keep our focus, but both of these cards here are about focus. Sometimes it's hard to keep our ambition. And also, like, matches is a suit of action. So we need to keep pushing and keep continuing and keep putting that into action. Like, keep pushing our feet forward is what I want to say. And then the Chariot. This is a major arcana card, as is the Universe. But like I said, I feel like the Universe is kind of like this almost defeated attitude. Revisit your dreams, revisit your goals, even if you feel like you haven't accomplished them, or you feel like they aren't. Just keep going, little by little, chunk by chunk, because at some point, I mean, look at this: resilience, determination, willpower, more strong willpower, and control. The Chariot is then about, because like, the Nine of Matches has a lot of the same keywords here as the Chariot does, but the Chariot is finally like when you start seeing some progress, finally when you start taking control of your dreams and of what you want to do, and picking it up and moving. The Chariot is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is about emotions. You have no Cups cards here either, but sometimes we move in a direction, and we move, I'm going to put that in quotes, because we move there mentally. And I feel like a lot of this is getting over our own mental challenges to move in the direction of our dreams and where you want to go. I'm also getting the message that, you know, when you take a step towards your dreams, like, God steps with you, Spirit steps with you. It's not just you alone. Your dreams are important. And when you put focus on them and believe in them and believe in yourself, that is when that is a really, that's when things start moving for you. The Chariot also kind of talks about, you know, sometimes we've taking two things and merging them together and getting it to move forward. Look at this. We have growth and, ooh, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because we have willpower. Look at this. Willpower, the unexpected, expect the unexpected. This is a blue moon. So you hear that term once in a blue moon. Just because something is rare doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and it will happen for you with your determination and will. That is like super, super strong. The resilience, the determination, the will, the keep going here. Huge, huge, huge reminder for you this next week, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to see growth. And I feel like this is really beautiful. And then look at that. We have that little timepiece here too. So reiteration of what I said about like the time is going to pass anyway. You may as well spend the time doing what makes your heart sing. You may as well spend the time doing what you keep thinking about, what you keep revisiting. Don't let this stagnation or this regression of the past keep coming up. Like eventually you're going to make a breakthrough. You weren't really stagnating anyway. It was planting seeds. So look at it from that way. And I feel like your growth is going to be exponential, which means that yes, it's like short and small steps in the beginning, but then it just like poof, breaks free. And it really reminds me of like a running back in football. That's that person that the quarterback hands the ball off to, and he starts off behind the quarterback, and then he just runs into a pile of guys, and he does that like over and over and over and over again, right? And sometimes he gets knocked back, and sometimes he gets 3 yards. The best running backs, they only average like 3 yards a carry. With an average like that though, with 4 downs, like that's a first down. Okay. And then eventually, if he keeps moving, if he keeps his feet moving, if he keeps going, he breaks one open for a touchdown, and you're overdue for that, to break one open for a touchdown. So that's what I have for you, group 2. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3. This is your Picture Jasper, and I just want to talk about Picture Jasper for a second. So it is Jasper that has like these lines that almost look like landscapes, so that's why they call it Picture Jasper. And that's important because the stone is used, it's supposed to be for creativity and visualization, and it's used by writers and artists. So it looks like almost like a landscape painting there, so that's why I think there's that connection to artists and art. It's supposed to offer comfort and security and encourage confidence. So it's very beneficial for creativity and confidence and being yourself. You know, it's so funny because one of the other stones was about the throat chakra, and I could barely talking about this, but now I'm holding this Picture Jasper and I feel really confident, and I feel like you're supposed to harness that coming into this next week, this confidence. And we also have purity. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart and within you to find the answer to your questions. The other thing with purity is that it's not only the answer to your questions, but I also feel like just treating everybody, especially at this time, because this next week that we're going into we're in Mercury retrograde. So giving everybody grace, giving everybody the benefit of the doubt that you would want them to give you, basically. Almost treat everybody the way that you wish to be treated. So I feel like the purity is super important, not only when dealing with yourself and maybe some intrusive thoughts that might come up. Follow your heart. Try to you know, integrity is another word that comes up. Like, speak with integrity, and trust that others are speaking with integrity right now too. So be very intentional with what you say and the communication that you have going on. Interesting, we got stagnation here. That's death in reverse. Fear of change and avoidance. Let's see what else. So it's talking about that purity and integrity. That star came out kind of sideways, so I feel like you can harness that power both upright and reverse. We have the 7 of Needles, very interesting, and we have the 4 of Buttons. It's interesting we have the 7 of Needles. First of all, I'm talking about Mercury retrograde, which is about communication, and communication's going wonky right now. Whether it's a text that didn't go through, an email that somebody misinterpreted. We have issues with, possibly issues with travel, possibly issues with technology. So just be aware that that's coming up, and it might affect this group in particular a little bit more than the other groups, just because we've got some swords here, and swords are about communication. And then 7 of Swords, this says betrayal, deception, and cunning. I just want you to be careful though with that. Like, yes, that's what the 7 of Swords is about. But it's somebody who is acting within their own best interest, and it is definitely something that is based on your perspective. So before you, again, coming back to this purity, we're giving people the benefit of the doubt. So before you fly off the handle, when you find some news, or you find somebody sneaking around, like, figure out what it is that they're sneaking around about. For instance, like your bestie at work, you find out that she or he took a new job, and they never told you that they were even looking for a job. Well, you know, in their shoes, you may have done the same thing, and you really want the best for them. But it is kind of like, yes, trust, but verify. So we're going to trust, and we're going to give people the benefit of the doubt, but also, like, things are coming up from our past. Things are churning up. You might find some things that you aren't exactly happy with that have happened. And that's why I feel like this star kind of came out sideways. The star is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. It's about hope. It's about renewal and faith. But when we have it in reverse here, it's disappointment, despair, and uninspired. I kind of feel though that, you know, this star is interesting because it's a sea star, and it's circular, right? I kind of feel like it's basically based on your perspective on whether it's a great thing or a bad thing. And if you're following with the purity of your heart, and you're just giving the situation love, and you want everybody to be happy, I feel like your perspective is a lot different than if you're already cranky looking at the perspective. Okay, so I feel like that's what's really important here. Also, death in reverse. So change is one of those things. People hate seeing the death card, and that's what the death card is about. It's about changing. It's about things ending and things changing, and it can happen very swiftly, and it can kind of happen like unseen kind of changes. Usually though, when one door opens, when one door closes, another door opens. So change can be very good in that way, right? Especially when we're feeling stagnant. So on the flip side of that, even though change is scary, there's a lot of times when we pray for change and we want change. I just feel like also this purity speaks to some patience here. This 3-week period that we're in for Mercury retrograde isn't a great time to start new things anyway, because of the communication issues, because of all the kind of like complications and challenges that happen. It really is a time about reflection. It's a time to figure out the things that are working and figure out the things that aren't working. And the reason we're hitting these challenges is because the things that aren't working are getting highlighted right now. You might even get a call from your ex, okay, who you thought betrayed you. And I feel like it's time to figure out that closure so that you can both move on. So that's why, you know, we've got this death card in reverse. We've got this stagnation. Don't worry about this too much. It's not a bad thing to sit here for a minute because, yeah, I see the Four of Buttons a little bit differently than what's on this card. I'll read to you what's on it. But the Four of Buttons is a card about, it says conservatism, but it's really about kind of like walling up your world and sitting here and not allowing anything else in. And it is a card about being stagnant as well when it's upright, but you have it in reverse, which means that we have movement within here, okay? You're not sitting here with nothing happening. There's gonna be things happening. It's just like, but you have to consider what's happening. You have to consider your perspective. And in fact, I feel like when I was talking about the Seven of Needles, and I was talking about, you know, we can get a call from your ex, you can get a call from a family member you haven't talked to for a while, or a friend that you kind of have pulled away from. We're going to get some closure on these things, especially things that you might have not the best memory of or not the best attitude towards. I just feel like, you know, this purity too also kind of indicates like a washing away of the negativity. So the star is just a reminder here to have faith, have hope, and with your perspective that the you know, putting that perspective out there that we, you know, are really wanting the best and giving the love to the situation and the love to you and the love to everyone involved, that we can move forward and let go of things from the past and let go of things that are holding us back, because really this is things that are holding us back, probably negative ideas, negative thoughts that are kind of holding you back. And the Four of Buttons is when we're starting to come out of that. 4 is a number of stability. So a lot of times when we are feeling like unstable, we'll find a spot to just sit down and stay where we are and be there for a while. So that's why I'm saying like the Four of Pentacles here reversed is we're going to get some movement out of the situation once you change your perspective of it. And then what this says, possession, miserly, and frugality. I also think that it might be a good time to take a look at your finances and things where your spending is going. That's just a message for some of you, though. I don't think all of you necessarily need to do that. Let's get 2 more cards. Ooh, that one came out right away. 2 more cards of advice, and these guys came out pretty powerfully. Look at this purity. I love using different decks, and when they cross-reference, when they go, oh, you know, it's just about being lighter. It's about letting go. Discernment, so important. I love this. So this is says waxing gibbous. Discernment. You need to pick and choose your battles. You need to pick and choose what's important to you. Use your discernment. When you have like information coming in, you need to figure out if it's worthy of your attention, if it's worthy of you getting upset about, if it's worthy of you paying attention to. Discernment is really important. In fact, it's one of those things that I oftentimes say at the beginning of one of my readings, like use your discernment. What is for you? What is not for you? You need to be thinking about that in terms of not only when I'm reading cards for you, but what is happening in your life. Like what is for you? What is not for you? Go forth in purity. Go forth with a pure heart. This one is really pretty. The Snow Moon, purity, and she's really, I'm just gonna bring the card up here so you can see it, because she's just like leading with her heart, and she's just being really free and refreshed. We're washing things clean, we're letting go of the past, and that's really important right now. So it might feel challenging, but it's important. And then the discernment fits in here in like, well, what is it that you're letting go of in the past? Like if your friend that you've kind of moved away from pops up, are you rekindling that friendship, or is it not worth it? Your ex, we need to like look at the full perspective here. Like, are they an ex for a reason, or was it a misunderstanding? Again, we're in Mercury retrograde. You shouldn't start new things anyway, but you're probably gonna be faced with a lot of things from your past coming up, and maybe some information, some truths coming in where it talks about you being betrayed. I think you're gonna have an emotional reaction to that, but just remember, just give yourself love, be pure of heart, walk with integrity, and everything is gonna work out for the best. So that's what I have for you, group 3. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next reading.